You ever wonder how different our world could be? What if the money we use could literally create entirely different realities? Imagine one single choice made centuries ago that forked history into two completely separate timelines. Well, today, we're diving head first into that very idea.
See, the sources we're looking at today make a pretty bold claim. The type of currency a society runs on isn't just some boring economic detail. No, they say it's the foundational operating system. It's the code that shapes everything, from our politics and wars all the way down to our personal freedoms.
And that's really the big question we're tackling. What if, at a key moment in history, a totally different kind of money was chosen? A money that wasn't based on the whims of kings and governments, but on pure, cold mathematical proof.
So to explore this, we're going to pull from two sources: a fictional story that imagines this alternate history, and a deep dive essay that lays out the consequences. We're going to look at two parallel timelines, our reality and the one that could have been. Let's get started right at that fork in the road.
And our story kicks off in a pretty unexpected place, a hut in the Jamestown settlement way back in 1607. The fictional story we're using imagines these desperate settlers, not praying for food, but huddled together, validating transactions on a brand new, unbreakable digital ledger.
So this character, a blacksmith named John Harlan, he just gets it immediately. He sees that this new money, which he calls Bitcoin, has a fixed supply. It can't just be printed out of thin air or messed with by rulers. And that is a huge contrast to the government-issued money, the fiat money from the old world he just escaped.
Okay, so that one idea, that new kind of money, it sets up these two totally different timelines. And to really wrap our heads around them, we need to get into the nitty-gritty of the two monetary systems that are at the heart of all this.
So let's put them side by side. On one hand, you've got the fiat standard. That's the world we live in. It's centrally controlled, the supply is flexible, meaning they can print more, and it's all based on trusting the government. On the other hand, you have this imagined Bitcoin standard. It's a decentralized network, has a fixed, unchangeable supply of 21 million, and the rules are set by code, all based on math.
So what exactly is fiat money? Well, it's what's in most of our wallets. It's money simply because a government says it is. Its value isn't tied to gold or anything you can touch. It's all based on trust and stability. Now, that flexibility can be useful, but as we're going to see, the argument is that it comes with a pretty big price tag.
Now, the engine for that other system is called proof of work. Instead of a central bank, you have this global network of miners all competing to solve a complex math puzzle. Whoever wins gets to validate the next batch of transactions and is rewarded with new coins. It's this computational work that secures the whole network and creates new money without anyone being in charge.
Okay, and to really get the arguments about inequality in a fiat system, you have to know about the Cantillon effect. It's a key idea. It basically says that when new money gets created, it doesn't spread out evenly. It goes to the governments and big banks first. They get to spend it while it's still valuable. But by the time it trickles down to the rest of us, prices have already gone up.
And this is where things get really intense. The sources we're looking at make this huge claim that the choice of money doesn't just shape our wallets. It actually shapes war, peace, and the very nature of government power itself.
So here's maybe the most dramatic example from the source material: World War II. The argument goes like this. On the fiat path, Germany's ability to just print money to pay its debts led to insane hyperinflation, which completely wiped out the middle class. And that economic chaos and desperation created the perfect breeding ground for extremism. In the alternate timeline, with a fixed money supply, that hyperinflation never happens, stability is preserved, and the sources claim the entire war is avoided.
Right, so here's the bottom line from the sources. The ability to create money out of thin air lets governments fund massive, long-term wars without having to ask their citizens for the money directly through taxes. It becomes a kind of hidden tax through inflation, basically turning the whole monetary system into what the sources call a war machine.
And to put a real number on this, the research brings up the estimated $8 trillion cost of post-9/11 occupations in our timeline. I mean, that's just a staggering amount of money. And the source argues it was only possible because it was funded through debt and creating new currency, not through direct, accountable taxes.
Okay, so moving from war to our wallets, the sources then dig into inequality, arguing that the kind of money we use is actually a major reason for the growing wealth gap. And interestingly, the research essay points to some real-world data to back this up.
It highlights how crypto adoption rates are higher among minority communities. The suggestion here is that it offers an alternative to a traditional financial system that many feel has left them behind. And this brings us right back to that Cantillon effect. Remember how it works? New money gets created, it goes to the financial insiders first, they buy up assets like stocks and real estate before prices go up. According to the sources, this process just systematically funnels wealth from the bottom to the top, making people who earn wages poorer while making people who own assets richer.
Now, the fictional story takes this idea to a really dark and powerful place. It argues that the transatlantic slave trade was able to grow to its horrifying industrial scale because of fiat-like credit systems. Basically, the creation of endless loans and IOUs that turned human beings into financial line items. The story suggests this just wouldn't have been possible with a rigid, sound money system.
So where does this all actually lead? Let's take a look at how the sources imagine the year 2025 in these two totally different timelines.
Yeah, check out this table. It really lays out the two different worlds. On our fiat timeline, you see savings getting eaten away by inflation and a massive housing crisis. The general feeling is economic anxiety. But in the alternate Bitcoin timeline, savings actually grow in value. Housing's affordable because there are no speculative bubbles, and the whole outlook is one of self-reliance and empowerment.
And if you zoom out even further, the essay suggests these two paths just get more and more different. The fiat path, loaded with more and more debt and instability, it risks a total systemic collapse. The Bitcoin path, on the other hand, because it encourages saving and smart investment, trends toward a future of what the source calls post-scarcity abundance.
So when you strip it all away, what we're really talking about here is a fundamental choice. It's a choice between two completely different philosophies of what money even is and, who should be in control of it.
And this is the choice right here. Is money a tool of centralized command where the rules can be changed on a whim by a small group of people in charge, or is it a system of decentralized code with fixed, transparent rules that apply to everyone? Is money a tool for state control, or is it a tool for individual sovereignty? The sources, they don't really give us an easy answer. Instead, they leave us with this final, really thought-provoking question. Because every time we earn, save, or spend money, we are, in a small way, casting a vote for one system or the other. So the question is left for us: what kind of future do you want to buy into?